Coming of Age is coming up next. I'm your host, Josh Newby. Today, we'll provide an overview of the Lawyer Referral Service, your roadmap to the legal advice you need for every stage of life. But first, we're getting heart conscious and heart healthy on Coming of Age as we enter the new year. Stay tuned. Coming of Age starts right now. As we age, staying active in life and involved in the community can become a challenge. But with Council on Aging of West Florida's range of home-based services, you remain healthy, independent, and engaged. From Meals on Wheels and respite care to senior dining sites and the retreat, you'll feel empowered to regain your freedom while retaining what makes you, you. We've been in the community for nearly 50 years, advocating for elders and supporting those who care for our parents and grandparents. We were there when your father's health began declining, when your mother needed companionship during the day. And guess what? We'll be there down the road when you need those services too. Now, join with us as we talk together about the aging issues that matter to you. February is American Heart Month, and there's no better time to increase awareness about cardiovascular health. Today, we will be talking about irregular heartbeats and arrhythmias with Dr. Sumit Verma, a board-certified cardiologist specializing in electrophysiology with the Baptist Heart and Vascular Institute. Dr. Verma will discuss healthy heartbeats, heart health tips, and the treatment options available if an irregular heartbeat occurs. Doctor, thank you for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
Before we get started, share a little bit about your expertise, your background.
So I'm a cardiac electrophysiologist, and what that means is we're a team of cardiologists who are further specialized in heart rhythm disorders. And so as far as training is concerned, it requires a full cardiology fellowship. Once you're a cardiologist, then you take additional 1 or 2 years of training to become a heart rhythm specialist.
Okay. So what is an electrophysiologist and how did you come to study this area of heart health?
So when I was in internal medicine, I mentored with some folks who were very inspiring and led me into the field of cardiac electrophysiology.
Okay.
So we deal with heart rhythm disorders primarily, and you'd be surprised how many different types of heart rhythm disorders there are and the treatment options that are available. So it's a very specialized field. It's a lot of complexity in what we do, and we're able to provide a service to patients and help them live longer, feel better.
Sure. So what are some of the more common ailments you see among your patients?
So as the population is aging, we're dealing with rhythms that are specific to older patients. For example, atrial fibrillation is extremely common, and that's something we deal with quite a bit. There's other arrhythmias such as ventricular tachycardia, which are more life-threatening, and that's another area that we deal with. And then there's patients who have pacemakers, defibrillators, and then there's another group of patients you might say who are younger and have congenital heart disorders as well.
Sure. So what is a normal heart rate? And I imagine it varies among individuals, but it may not. Does it vary at all?
So that's a very common question, and it's a good question, but there's a huge range.
Okay.
So sometimes if you're athletic, and we have patients whose heart rate might be in the 40s even, and that could be considered normal for that individual.
Okay.
And then there's patients who live with a heart rate in the 80s and 90s at rest. So there's quite a bit of variation.
So what is how serious is a heart rhythm irregularity?
So heart rhythm irregularities can be life-threatening. You can have a cardiac arrest as a result of a heart rhythm disorder. On the other hand, there are chronic heart rhythm disorders that are you could be unaware of, but they could either be completely benign, meaning they don't really are not going to bother you in any way, or they could also slowly lead to further worsening of heart function, congestive heart failure, And so there's a huge spectrum of heart rhythm disorders and how they impact people.
And is that something that you would notice in your day-to-day life? If it were just a slight irregularity, would you really even notice that?
Some patients are highly aware of their heart rhythm disorders.
Okay.
So if they have a single extra beat, we call them premature ventricular contractions or premature atrial contractions, they would feel each one of them.
Gotcha.
On the other hand, there are patients who live with relatively serious heart rhythm conditions, and they don't even know it's there.
Oh, wow.
Until we do an evaluation.
Okay, so how do you diagnose that situation?
The simplest test is an electrocardiogram, an ECG.
Okay.
So when patients go to the doctor's office, that would be the first thing to do. And beyond that, there are monitors we use, external heart rhythm monitors that patients can wear for up to 30 days that record the heart rhythms. Mm-hmm. And another interesting thing nowadays is people are using wearable monitors, so like the Apple Watch.
Right.
And they're using Fitbits and things like that to give us information about what type of heart rhythm disorders they might have.
I'm curious what the typical person would actually feel. Like, say they don't really have a history of heart rhythm irregularity, and then, do they have a pain in their chest? What is that initial feeling like that might clue them that something's wrong?
The most common thing we hear is rapid heartbeat.
Okay.
So you could be sitting in a restaurant, just having dinner, and then suddenly you feel your heart beating faster than normal. Sometimes it wakes people up at night.
Wow.
Because the heart is beating too fast.
Gotcha.
It might be as simple as a skip beat, so you feel a sudden skip and then a pause in your heartbeat. It could be like that.
Okay.
Passing out is another common symptom. And then more serious things like having difficulty breathing, chest pain, fluid retention, those are also possible as part of the syndrome.
Okay, talk about some of the treatment options for this ailment.
So I would divide the treatment options in treatments for fast heart rhythms and treatment for slow heart rhythms.
Okay.
For the slow heart rhythms, a pacemaker is generally the solution.
Gotcha.
So it provides a little electrical current to the heart, keeps up the heart rate at a certain speed.
Okay.
And we program that.
Right.
As far as the fast heart rhythms are concerned, there's drug therapies. Lots of different medicines are available to keep the heart rate lower.
Okay.
If those don't work, there's a procedure called a radiofrequency ablation, which is a catheter-based procedure.
Okay.
So we enter through the femoral vein in the groin, pass a catheter up into the heart. We do electrical mapping. So we map out the heart rhythm, see exactly where they're coming from, which one is normal and abnormal.
Okay.
And nowadays we have the ability to create beautiful three-dimensional maps. They're very high definition. You can locate the focus, abnormal focus, down to a millimeter.
Wow.
And once you identify the area that's causing the misfiring, we can move a catheter to that spot and zap it or burn it or cauterize it.
Okay. So is this something that can actually be, quote unquote, cured, or is it a chronic medical issue?
There's a lot of heart rhythm disorders that can be cured.
Okay.
And that's especially true for patients who have a genetic problem, such as a WPW, Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome, where they're born with the extra electrical pathway. And so some of those conditions are definitely curable.
Okay. Well, we have just about a minute left, but we're in the new year. I'm curious what recommendations you have to keep your heart healthy and strong.
I think general recommendations should be followed. I think exercise is a very big part of the overall cardiovascular health. And just generally recommended at least 30 minutes, few times a week.
Sure.
So if you can get to 150 minutes in a week of cardiac exercise, meaning you achieve a heart rate of about 85% of your target heart rate. For most people, that's going to be between 100 and 150 beats per minute.
Okay.
So if you can get to that few times a week, I think that's highly recommended.
Excellent. Great advice. I appreciate you coming on, Doctor. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Don't go anywhere. Information on where to turn for legal help next.
Why do people love ACT's retirement life communities? There are more reasons than just the active lifestyle. Like ACT's Life Care, a plan that protects your nest egg with predictable monthly fees, even if your healthcare needs increase. So you can enjoy a carefree today and a worry-free tomorrow. Plan a visit and see why our satisfaction rating with current residents stands at 98%. ACT's Retirement Life Communities, where loving kindness lives.
What does it look like when a life is truly changed?
I feel a sense of accomplishment because I built a house. This house has brought us financial independence.
It's a great place to raise a family.
Strength, fuerza, When I look back where we've come from to where we are today, it makes my heart very happy.
Potential.
Potencia.
For me, this house means all of us together.
Sorry. Together.
Security.
Security.
Every family dreams to have their own house. This house changed our lives.
Habitat for Humanity is at work in your community and around the world. Through shelter, we empower.
Many people associate getting a lawyer as a sign that something has gone wrong, but very often the right legal advice can prevent the wrong thing from ever happening, whether that means counsel regarding estate planning, disagreements over a will, or even housing issues and Social Security disability. But where do you start? The Lawyer Referral Service is your roadmap, and here to discuss is Jeff Nall, Executive Director of the Escambia Santa Rosa Bar Association and former host of this show. Jeff, welcome back.
Oh, it's nice to be back. Thank you, Josh, and thanks for the invitation to come on and share with our viewers. You know, that's kind of what we both do, is share information that's helpful and resources, and that's what the Lawyer Referral Service is all about.
Absolutely, that's a great teaser. So to get started, what is the Bar Association?
The Escambia Santa Rosa Bar Association is a professional association for attorneys and judges in the two-county area. Like associations affiliated with many different professions, we build community amongst our members through networking, professional development, and sharing of relevant information.
Okay, so what is the Lawyer Referral Service?
Well, the Lawyer Referral Service is a public service of the Escambia Santa Rosa Bar Association, and its purpose is to help people find the type of an attorney that can address their needs.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times, even kind of relating it to caregivers, we know our situation. We know what we feel, we know what we see, we know what's frustrating us, but we don't necessarily know whose area of expertise that falls into.
You don't know where to start.
Right. So we have about 90 attorneys who participate in the program, and they represent a large number of areas of practice.
Okay.
And then we have a Lawyer Referral Service coordinator who's kind of like a matchmaker.
Okay.
She's very attentive and good at listening, and helps people share their story in a way where, you know, she's not an attorney. We are not attorneys in our office, but she can kind of match them with an attorney that can probably help.
So how do I utilize the service? Is it online? Is it over the phone? Do I have to come into the office?
Actually, all three.
Okay.
Primarily, it's by phone or by email.
Okay.
Someone can call. We have a dedicated phone line, 434-6009, and that rings directly at her desk. Obviously, she's busy making phone calls, so you may get a voicemail, but you will get a return call back. We also have an online form on our website, which is esrba.com.
Okay.
And in both cases, they'll be asked to describe their scenario and exactly what's happening with them. And then she will call them, and they will discuss who might be a good fit for them. And then she will provide the name and phone number of that attorney, and then the person calling or emailing in would then reach out to them.
Okay. So, I mean, you know, like I said earlier, finding a lawyer, if you've never done it before, it can be an intimidating process, you know, speaking to a lawyer for the first time. Tell us about that initial consultation process. What goes into that?
Well, let's go back up to starting with the phone call. But like you said, intimidating. Gosh, any of us, when we're looking for information or resources or getting into an area that not in our wheelhouse exactly, that is intimidating.
Yeah.
And seeking legal help is no different.
Right.
So I think, though, going through that process of starting out with a very compassionate, empathetic ear who will help them find a match, and then provide them with the name and the phone number of that attorney. They will then call the attorney to set up an initial consultation. And all of our participating attorneys have agreed to do a reduced rate fee of $40.
Oh, that's great.
For a 30-minute consultation.
Okay.
Our service does not have any pro bono or contingency lawyers, but they do try to work, especially in this initial consultation, to make that as ease. And one thing that's also and relevant to everyone, but we have a large number who will actually go to someone's home.
Yeah.
If there's a mobility issue, there's an illness issue. We have some that say they will take an appointment in a hospital. That
huge.
could be illness or personal injury.
Mm-hmm.
We have some that will do after hours in their office, or even on Saturdays.
That's awesome.
So I think hearing that should, I hope, transmit that this is really not something that should be intimidating, but we certainly understand when it is, and we will try to work with them to make sure everybody's comfortable.
Definitely. Now, someone's about to make a big life decision, or maybe they're in the midst of it, and they don't want to hire a lawyer, right? They think it might needlessly complicate things, but there's a huge value in getting that type of professional counsel. Talk about the value that your attorneys bring to the table for your clients.
Well, I think what they say about an ounce of prevention.
Absolutely.
And the same would apply to a medical issue that we hope will just go away.
Right.
These things, legal, medical,
They don't
whatever
just go
they
away.
are, they don't just go away.
Right.
So sitting down and talking with an attorney, especially when it's something that could have some very long-term and binding implications, and finding out exactly what your rights are and what your course of action can be. Sometimes just a short conversation with attorney can establish how serious is this, what options are available to you, how you might handle it, and also make sure that it goes away and stays away.
Yes.
So there's always, defer to the expert is one of my go-tos, and and this is just the same type of situation.
Awesome. Now, tell us about the quality of the attorneys, because we see ads for attorneys, right? We're not sure sometimes. There's a process, right, to join the bar. These are vetted individuals.
Yes, these are vetted individuals. Our lawyer referral program is certified by the American Bar Association and the Florida Bar. All of these participating attorneys have to be members in good standing of the Escambia Santa Rosa Bar Association, as well as members in good standing and eligible to practice law in the state of Florida. And that's operated and overseen by the Florida Bar, which handles which is a requirement for any attorney in the state that's been licensed by the Supreme Court of Florida. So there is a good checks and balance, and if things are not going the way they should, we want to know about it, and the Florida Bar has a process for that as well. So I think we can get you a good fit.
Awesome. We have just about a minute left, but obviously we're coming of age, Council on Aging, a special focus on elder adults. Talk about the value of this service for that population specifically.
That's a great question, and obviously a lot of these situations cross populations, but when you're really talking about seniors, many of our callers in that elder age group are interested in a will. We should all have one, maybe we don't.
Right.
Is it a power of attorney issue, healthcare surrogate, setting up a trust, or any type of estate planning? Sometimes it's a situation of neglect or abuse by a family member.
Yeah.
And they're not being treated the way that they would like to be treated. The flip side of that is sometimes it's guardianship of a minor child. As you well know, there are a lot of grandparents raising grandchildren, and sometimes it's just important to formalize that living situation and how that works. Social Security disability is something that would be important to the senior population, as well as landlord-tenant. There's lots of cases across all ages where that's a rocky relationship, and we don't want anybody to be taken advantage of. But the other, as I mentioned before, is the availability to possibly have that consultation in your home, or in your hospital, or at after hours or a Saturday. So there's lots of different types of law. Any of the elder law, family law, all of that would impact the senior population to the same degree. Obviously, we're all, could find ourselves involved in a personal injury type situation. But when you've got mobility issues and some other things, that's certainly a key one. But we really just want people to make sure that at that stage in their life, everything is going the way they want it to.
Definitely, definitely. Great information. Thank you, Jeff, so much for coming on.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. Until next time, enjoy life. You've earned it.
Since 1989, TLC Caregivers has been providing the special help people need to stay independent in their own homes. TLC is an employer of choice in the home care market. Our employees are screened with level 2 background screens, drug-free, and have caregiving experience. If you have time, enjoy people, and are interested in joining us, go to tlccaregivers.com to learn more about becoming a TLC caregiver, or visit us in Cordova Square.
When cancer tries to take you away from the things that matter most, Baptist Cancer Institute offers caring physicians and the most innovative treatment options. With convenient locations and a wide array of support programs and services, we're here to help you during the most difficult of times. As a member of the Mayo Clinic Care Network, we're bringing even more innovative cancer care to our community right here at home. When you need cancer care, we'll be there.
My mother is 103 years old. She lives with me. She was not happy with coming out of her apartment. She had some Arkansas expressions for it, like we threw her in the back seat of a car just like a hog. She did not want to give up her independence at all. I didn't know what the possibilities were. I didn't know how to handle a person with dementia. And you feel quite alone. You feel like you're on an island.
It was very hard to try to work and try to take care of my father. He was very ill. It was very emotional because I didn't have help.
So I got a very nice lady on the telephone, and she mentioned adult daycare and West Florida Council on Aging. You just kind of go, oh, so now I'm not alone.
Council on Aging exists to provide independence and dignity to senior adults who are living at home. There is a big misconception in senior care that exists. You either stay at home or you go into a nursing home. We provide that in-between care that enables seniors to remain safe and independent in their homes. Whether it's Meals on Wheels, companionship, in-home services such as bathing and hygiene so that they can remain active and engaged and make friends, and we make their life worth living.
If I didn't have Miss Annie here or the Senior Companion Program, I would have to quit my job. And that would be devastating.
A senior companion, we stay with people, we sit with people who need somebody around them or with them or some help. Their caregiver won't have to be there all the time.
Well, the first day when she came to help, I actually went to work with like a weight off my shoulders.
I have Annie. She's great company. I know I can depend on her, and that's a great thing.
I look forward to getting up in the morning and coming over here and fixing her breakfast, and talking to her.
You can tell there's a lot of care and compassion for the people that are at this service here, and that is very comforting too, to know that they want to be here.
The daycare enables us to enjoy her because she's been there for a few hours.
We're engaging their minds. Every 30 minutes, we change activities.
She sings, she dances, she loves attention.
The retreat has definitely been a safe place because my mom's a little restless and could not be by herself anymore at home. So it's her routine now. Because of her stroke, this has given her so much more stimuli before her stroke. She was a very social person, so this gave that back to her.
The program allows you to meet other people in the community. You find out that you're not alone, and it gives them something constructive to do in the process. Sometimes they'll just put on music and they're dancing, and it's a great environment.
I lost my baby child. He was 34 years old, and I didn't do well. My mother has been a foster grandparent for 20 years, and she kept trying to encourage me to do this, and I just didn't want to do anything. This program really saved my life.
The Foster Grandparent Program is a program that enables lower income elder adults to mentor at-risk youth.
We go into the schools and we help the children who are having difficulties with their reading, math. We give them love and we talk with them and give them support outside of the school. It helped me to see things differently, and then I was able to give back to some kids, and my son that's one of the things he would have really wanted me to do.
This solves so many parts of the at-risk youth equation, of the at-risk senior adult equation. We have had some grannies been in the program for 20 or 30 years, and kids that they mentored back in the 80s are now grown with families of their own, and they still keep in touch with their foster grandparents. That's the sort of multi-generational impact that we're able to facilitate here at Council on Aging.
I'm on Social Security. After I'd pay all my living expenses and everything, I would hardly have any, money left for food. And then someone told me at the community center there, they served hot lunches every day. That's when I started, being introduced to Meals on Wheels, food that is delivered to, senior citizens. Now they have Meals on Wheels for pets, so she gets food too from the Council on Aging. What has really touched my heart and meant a lot to me is when Council on Aging got with Peden and rebuilt my AC unit and put in a new thermostat. It makes me feel good to know that there's an organization out there that cares about us seniors.
There's something about helping someone who thought they had been forgotten, who thought that they didn't matter anymore, who thought that their time was up, that is just so special. But then someone walks into your life with an air conditioner or a meal or even just a smile and offers to spend a couple hours with you talking about the good old days. Suddenly you matter. Suddenly your life has purpose again, and suddenly you have a reason to wake up in the morning. And I think that's what I really love about Council on Aging.